Hello all, my name is Deepak Vijayan. My dissertation topic is a detailed look into the impact of branding and origin brand of the brands. Introduction. The main intention of promoting a brand is to make sure that it is easily recognizable and a customer relates the brand to being a market leader. An exceptional experience with a product is what usually gives a special value to a product, and a business trying to give the experience to a customer is what makes a difference in many cases. The process is triggered by exposing the brand, product, or service to a specific audience. The set of values that makes a customer loyal builds a solid foundation of brand promoters. Origin of countries has special values associated with it as well. For example, when we consider the case of Cadbury's in Europe and US, the minimum standard imposed on chocolate makes a difference. Milk chocolate in Europe must contain 30% cocoa, whereas in US it needs to be only 10%. Understanding the different sets of standards that each country imposes on the products sold in their country often results in changes in the quality of a product. Some products, for example Mercedes cars made in one country may have better quality than the same product made in another country. Mission statements of companies influence customers, and the depth in which the company is true to those statements make a customer evaluate the company's credibility. To understand marketing strategies based in different countries, one has to understand these differences in policies that is set by companies as well as governments in some cases. This study is meant to have a look into the attributes that influence different brand names and the value associated with the origin of those brands. The importance of the topic is to have an understanding of branding products and different elements that influence branding. Research question. What is the impact of different branding techniques? How do branding technique affect a brand? How does the origin of a brand country affect a brand? Explanation of research question. It is important to understand how different branding techniques work and the way they impact a customer. Understanding how brands and the influence of different branding techniques have an effect on customers' purchase decisions. Origin of products play an important role in some cases, and an understanding on them makes a difference. Literature review theme 1. According to Keller, a branding strategy reflects the number and nature of common and distinctive brand elements which involves deciding which brand names, logos, symbols, and so forth should be applied to which products sold by a company. This brand architecture involves defining both brand boundaries and brand complexity, which is to clarify brand awareness and motive brand image. Literature review theme 2. Digital marketing techniques have played a very important role in spreading brand awareness in the new age. According to Quedo, consumers are constantly connected and engaged with the world around them through multiple forms of technology. The focus has to be on building awareness, influencing consideration, driving sales, and growing loyalty. Gaucher states that treating people the way they want to be treated has a long lasting effect on them, and that increases the value of what we have to offer. Literature review theme 3. Finding the right time to reach the consumer is also important, and online marketing now has options where a customer is able to watch videos of products when they are doing certain searches that are associated with the products some companies have to sell. As Quedo says, the challenge of marketers is to find a way to make their digital strategies into actual sales. Digital media provides the opportunity for engaging the customers and connecting with them throughout the process, where the promotion of the brand becomes an additional benefit. Then contextualizing the research in the literature. Different companies use different methods to promote their brands, and each method have their own advantages. Finding the right methods and successfully following them up is important for a brand to become popular. The research takes a glimpse into the several methods used like that. Moreover, the country from which the brand is originated also has an impact in many cases, and the research gives an insight into that. This is the methodology, and the primary data collection will be carried out by using a survey and the secondary data is by completing the literature review. The study will use secondary data from other similar studies and literature to validate the primary data collected. The time span for conducting the study will be 6 months, and it will be a cross-sectional study where the data collected from the population at a specific point of time is issued. The research will use a quantitative method. The study uses surveys and a deductive approach will be taken as the study moves into being more specific on understanding the methods that are used in branding a product. Research philosophy. The research uses a scientific method in which an observation is made from the responses and the outcome is compared to the data collected from the literature review, and the data is analyzed and validated, giving the research a positivist approach. The data collected from literature reviews will be validated the outcome of the observations made in the survey. Research approach. The intention of the study is to spread light on different ways in which companies brand their product and how customers view branding. The predictions set by previous studies and literature will be addressed, and possible relationship will be investigated through surveys in the study. A statistical analysis will give meaning to the variables gathering through surveys, and the relationships will be revealed which would determine the extent to which one variable influences another. Research strategy. The strategy is to gather secondary data through literature reviews and primary data through surveys and analyze the data by using Excel as a statistical tool to find different variables that influence each other. The questionnaire administered will cover parts which will shed light on the views of the population on branding. Research choice. The time constraint limits a wider study, but there will be enough time to consider a few companies that have different brand values in their respective field and how and why they are where they are. Basically, this is a closed study with a positivist approach. The ethical factors of the research were not very harmful as compared to many other social surveys, which made it a safe bet to conduct such a study without causing any harm or breaking any legal constraints. Sampling. The study will be conducted among random samples from a random population, which is a wider perspective than limiting it to a certain population. Since marketing techniques are usually addressed to wide population which consists of all sorts of people, the research will be conducted into a manner. Brand values depends on individuals, and getting samples from random individuals will give the study more value. Data collection. The study will use surveys to get a limit on how the population views different branding, and the study is meant to look into how certain companies brand their products. The secondary data collection is through literature review, and the primary data collection is through surveys. Data analysis. The researcher plans to put the data collected through Excel and evaluate the results from the primary data collected. He will compare the study it with secondary data collected to shed light on branding. The researcher plans to cover the relevant areas by having a graphical representation taken from Excel, which will make the interpretation easier. Research ethics. The research is intended to serve the interests of all those who take part in it, and all the values such as trust, accountability, and mutual respect that are essential for a work such as this will be upheld. The researcher is aware that different people from different backgrounds which will have an influence in their response. The researcher will make sure to give credit to all those whose work was borrowed. It is not possible to get an inside view of the strategies from these companies that we mentioned in the studies. There is only a limited amount of companies that we can consider in a study of such a limited span, but with a wide subject. Then these are the references we have. Thank you.